Rain poured heavily over the city streets, blurring the glow of traffic lights and washing away the sounds of the busy world. Inside his old, squeaky car, Marcus gripped the steering wheel tighter than usual. His wipers squealed across the windshield, fighting the storm. He was already late for his second shift driving for a rideshare company, late for the bills piling on his kitchen table, and late for the hope he'd been trying to hold on to. Marcus had been out of steady work for months, trying to keep his head above water after being laid off from his construction job. He never complained, though. He believed every hard road had a reason, he just hadn't found his yet. Just as he pulled into a gas station to rest for a moment, lightning cracked across the sky, and he saw her, standing by a silver SUV on the side of the road, drenched, her arms wrapped around a small boy who looked barely 6. Her face was pale, her eyes wild with fear. Without thinking, Marcus jumped out and ran toward her. The boy in her arms was limp, his tiny wrist wrapped in a hospital band. "Please," the woman gasped, her voice trembling with desperation. "He's burning up. The car just died, I need to get to St. Mary's Hospital, please." Marcus didn't hesitate for a second. He helped her into his car, wrapped his old hoodie around the boy, and started the engine. The tires splashed against the wet pavement as they sped into the night, the storm pounding harder with every mile. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and humanity still existing in small acts of love, pause this story for a moment, hit that like button, comment something kind below, and subscribe to our channel for more stories that remind the world that good hearts still exist. Inside the car, tension filled the air thicker than the rain. Marcus could hear the woman's soft sobs as she cradled her son in the back seat. The boy's skin looked ghostly pale, his breathing shallow. Marcus tried to focus on the road, but he could see her reflection in the rearview mirror, her trembling lips, the fear in her eyes. He didn't know who she was, or what her life was like, but in that moment, nothing else mattered except getting them there in time. Traffic lights glowed red in the distance, mocking their urgency. Marcus's pulse raced. He looked both ways and made a split-second decision. He ran the light. Tires screeched, horns blared behind him, but he didn't care. He could hear the boy's faint moan, the sound of a mother whispering prayers through her tears. "Hold on," Marcus muttered, his voice shaking, "we'll be there soon." As they rushed through the drenched streets, Marcus's mind wandered. He thought about his own little sister, who had died years ago because their family couldn't afford the ambulance that might have saved her. Maybe this was his moment to make things right for someone else. The city lights flickered through the rain as his old car fought the wind. His gas meter blinked red, but Marcus pressed on. When they finally pulled into the hospital driveway, nurses rushed out with a stretcher. The woman's tears turned to sobs of relief as she handed her child over. Marcus parked the car and watched from a distance, soaked to the bone, exhausted but somehow at peace. He didn't expect thanks. He didn't even ask her name. Once the boy disappeared through the sliding doors, Marcus quietly turned to leave. He was halfway back to his car when he heard someone call out. "Wait. Please, wait." She ran toward him, her face pale and wet from tears and rain. "I didn't even thank you," she said, her voice breaking. "You saved my son's life." Marcus gave a small, tired smile. "I just did what anyone would do." But she shook her head. "No. Not anyone would stop in this storm. Not anyone would risk traffic, or drive through red lights, or give up their hoodie to a stranger's child." Her eyes were filled with something Marcus couldn't read, guilt, gratitude, maybe both. "Please, tell me your name." "Marcus," he said softly. "Marcus Green." She repeated his name as if trying to memorize it. Before he could say anything else, a doctor came running out, telling her the boy was stable but needed to stay overnight. Relief washed over her face like sunlight breaking through clouds. Marcus turned again to leave, his wet shoes squelching on the pavement. 2 days later, Marcus was back driving through the city. He hadn't heard from her again. Life went on, as it always did. But as he stopped at a red light near the same hospital, someone knocked on his window. It was her, dressed neatly now, dry and composed, though her eyes still carried the softness of gratitude. The little boy was beside her, smiling shyly with a small bandage on his wrist. "I've been looking for you," she said. "You disappeared that night." Marcus shrugged lightly. "Didn't want to get in the way. Just glad he's okay." She smiled faintly and handed him an envelope. "You didn't get in the way, Marcus. You changed everything." Marcus hesitated before taking it. Inside was a handwritten note, and a check. His eyes widened when he saw the number. It was more money than he'd ever seen in his life. The note read, "To the man who stopped when no one else did. You didn't know me, but you saved the only thing that mattered in my world. I come from a family that has everything money can buy, but that night, I learned the one thing we didn't have, compassion. You gave me that. Thank you, Marcus." He looked up, speechless. "Ma'am, I can't." But she gently interrupted him. "Please. Consider it a thank you from one mother who'll never forget you. Maybe it'll help you as much as you helped us." For the first time in years, Marcus felt tears sting his eyes. He looked at the boy, now smiling bright and alive, and something deep inside him healed. It wasn't about the money, it was about knowing he'd done something right when no one else would have. As the woman and her son walked away, Marcus looked up at the sky. The rain had stopped. Sunlight broke through the clouds, golden and soft, touching everything in its path. He sat there for a long time, holding the note in his hands, realizing that kindness has a way of coming back, sometimes when you least expect it, sometimes when you've almost given up. And in that moment, Marcus understood something he'd never known before: being rich wasn't about money. It was about heart. If this story touched your heart, please don't scroll past without liking, sharing, and subscribing. Let's keep spreading stories that remind us all how powerful simple kindness can be. Speech balloon special request, comment below, kindness still exists. If you believe good people like Marcus deserve to be remembered.